The story of Nagi and Erika is a complicated one. The two were switched at birth. Nagi grew up living a modest life as the son of an eatery owner, while Erika was raised in luxury as the daughter of a wealthy hotel magnate. On their 17th birthday, their paths crossed and the truth was revealed, along with the surprising announcement of their arranged engagement. Despite their initial reluctance, the two began living together. In time, Nagi developed a complicated dynamic with Hiro, his classmate and crush, as well as with Sachi, his adopted younger sister. Now, another unexpected situation unfolds as someone from his past has just arrived at the airport. One evening, Hiro suddenly arrives at Erika's house and makes a shocking announcement that she's moving in. She explains that her parents are trying to marry her off to someone she doesn't love, and she has no intention of allowing that to happen. When Nagi asks if she essentially ran away from home, Hiro firmly replies that she's going to war. While Nagi is impressed by her resolve, Erika and Sachi are left slightly stunned by this bold side of Hiro. Seated in the dining area, Hiro elaborates that if she meets her fiancé, it would likely seal the engagement. To avoid that, she's decided to stay elsewhere. Sachi compares her situation to Nagi and Erika's, noting how the two avoid each other despite being engaged themselves. Nagi supports Hiro's decision, saying that choosing her own happiness is the right move. However, Sachi quickly reminds him that the house actually belongs to Erika, meaning she has the final say on whether Hiro can stay. Hiro quietly tells Sachi that her tutoring services aren't free, hinting that allowing her to stay is part of the exchange. Sachi reluctantly agrees out loud, but mentally signals Erika to refuse the arrangement. Unfortunately for her, Erika doesn't pick up on the hint and happily agrees to let Hiro live with them. With the decision made, Sachi raises a practical concern about their room assignments. The house only has 2 bedrooms. Currently, she and Erika share one room, while Nagi has a room to himself. Naturally, Nagi says it would be inappropriate for him to share a room with Hiro. However, Hiro responds that she doesn't mind. After all, they've already shared a room once before at an inn. Erika adds that Nagi's room has a loft which could work well. Nagi momentarily drifts into a daze at the thought of getting a great view of Hiro every day, before Sachi snaps him back to reality, reminding everyone that all 3 of them are engaged and such arrangements are not proper. Sachi then volunteers to take the loft and keep Nagi out of trouble by locking him in the loft. But Erika offers another solution: she could share a room with Nagi instead, since the original arrangement was for the 2 of them to live together. Things only changed when Sachi moved in. However, Erika quickly reminds him of all the inappropriate incidents that occurred during their cohabitation, most of which, according to Nagi, were actually caused by Erika herself. Trying to come up with a solution, Nagi suggests that the 3 girls should share a room while he keeps his own. He considers it a brilliant plan, but all 3 girls stare at him in silence. Moments later, his genius idea backfires completely as he finds himself in the storage room. Hiro ends up taking his room in the meantime. Still, Nagi tells himself it's fine since it's only temporary. Besides, the thought of Hiro sleeping in his bed is enough to keep his spirits up. He even begins to entertain the idea that Hiro might see him as a romantic option, especially since she's so adamantly against her arranged engagement. But before he can spiral too far into his daydreams, Erika stops by his new room for a visit. Upon entering, Erika opens up about Hiro's sudden move into their home. She believes that living together might expose some of their less appealing sides to one another. Nagi, however, confidently disagrees. Erika then reveals that she used to rebel against her parents too, but in recent years they've allowed her more freedom. In fact, her biological parents are fine with her not marrying Nagi. Still, she wants to make all of her parents happy, and that may mean going through with the engagement. Nagi agrees that staying on good terms with family is important, but argues that neither of them should have to sacrifice their own happiness just to please their parents. The comment hits Erika harder than he expects. She abruptly leaves the room and slams the door behind her. Left alone, Nagi reflects on their conversation and begins to wonder what kind of marriage could truly make everyone happy. Elsewhere in the house, Hiro finishes her bath and takes a good look around, only to realize just how messy everything is. The next morning, Nagi wakes up to the surprising sight of Hiro in an apron, tidying up and preparing breakfast. Nagi tries to stop her, but Hiro insists it's the least she can do since she's freeloading. Nagi waits eagerly in the living room to try her cooking, but is shocked when she pulls out a dried bonito. The noise wakes Sachi and Erika, who immediately scold Nagi upon seeing Hiro doing chores. He pulls them aside for a quick meeting and suggests they divide the housework. However, Sachi and Erika are against it and propose that whoever feels like cleaning should do it. Nagi quickly points out the flaw will be that Hiro will end up doing everything on her own. When Nagi tries to point out the obvious chores around the house, both Sachi and Erika dodge the topic, claiming they've been busy. Frustrated by their excuses, Nagi punches a hole in the wall to show how serious he's about cleaning. He then drafts a chore list for everyone to follow. Nagi checks on Hiro, who's still working on shaving bonito flakes. Before he can offer help, Sachi runs in to report that the washing machine has exploded. Upon checking, Nagi quickly scolds her for overloading it and tells her to stop being lazy. Next, Erika calls him over to point out a thick layer of dust gathered on a nearby table. She scolds him for letting it accumulate, then walks away without any intention of cleaning it herself. Nagi returns to the kitchen to find Hiro still struggling with the bonito flakes despite the fact that it's already lunchtime. By sunset, no one in the house has eaten. Hiro continues trying to perfect the bonito flakes, while everyone else is too hungry to move. Seeing the situation, Nagi decides to take matters into his own hands. He cooks a simple meal he calls the stranger's bowl, a nod to how everyone in the house is essentially unrelated yet living under one roof. As the girls begin eating and praise the meal, Nagi explains that his dish was inspired by his relationship with each of them. While talking, thick tears begin streaming down his face, surprising everyone, especially Nagi, who didn't realize he was crying. Later that night, Nagi sulks in his new room, embarrassed by his sudden emotional outburst. He tries to distract himself by studying, only to be interrupted by Erika, who orders him to wash the dishes. Nagi scolds her for not doing them herself and laments his current situation, especially since the storage room he now lives in needs to remain open for everyone's use. As Erika waters the plants nearby, she casually tells Nagi that she thought his tears earlier were tears of happiness. Surprised by this interpretation, Nagi wonders aloud if Erika ever cries from happiness too. Just then, the lights suddenly go out, catching them off guard. Hiro arrives and announces that tonight is horror night. Everyone gathers in the living room, where Hiro asks if they heard of Kakuri-san. Sachi and Nagi are vaguely familiar with it and agree to participate. Hiro begins the chant, and when their fingers move to yes, Erika is stunned that it's actually working. Hiro then asks the board if Erika is barefaced in her photos. To Erika's surprise and horror, the yen coin moves to yes. Erika reluctantly confirms that most of her photos are in fact barefaced. Nagi decides to use the board to ask who's been eating his pudding. He's confident Sachi is the culprit and suspects she's the one moving the coin. But to his surprise, the board spells out Erika, and Erika confirms it, much to his shock. Nagi starts to panic, wondering if an actual spirit is in the room with them. Sachi then asks the board who her first kiss was, which surprises everyone. They didn't know she had already kissed someone. The board spells out Nat, and Nagi starts panicking, thinking it's about to reveal him. But to his relief, the board spells out their mother's name instead. Sachi explains that their mom tends to get overly affectionate when drunk. She then notices that Hiro looks uncomfortable, though Hiro quickly denies it, claiming that the heat is just getting to her. Getting more into the spirit of the evening, Erika changes into a fox cosplay to fit the spooky theme. Hiro decides to ask the board who Nagi's first love was. The board spells out I, and everyone is shocked that it's not Hiro. Sachi confirms that Nagi used to play with a girl named Ai when they were kids. At first, even Nagi is confused, until he remembers Ai, his childhood friend and first crush. He starts to panic again, convinced the spirit in the board might be real. Suddenly, the lights go out, adding to the eerie atmosphere. When Nagi looks around, he realizes the girls have all vanished. In reality, this is part of Hiro's plan, a test to see which name Nagi will call out first in panic. Sachi, now uneasy, asks why Hiro is being so competitive. Hiro playfully suggests that Nagi will definitely call out Erika's name. But to their disappointment, when Nagi finally yells, it's neither of their names. Instead, he simply shouts his location and asks for help. The lights come back on and the girls reappear. Nagi is visibly relieved, especially over Sachi's safety, which surprises everyone. A few days later, Hiro and Erika head out for grocery shopping, leaving Nagi home alone. He also notes that Sachi will be gone since she has summer school. He takes the opportunity to strip down and dive into the pool. To his horror, Sachi returns home early, still in her school uniform. Nagi hides his nakedness underwater while Sachi sits nearby to talk. Eventually, she notices he's completely naked. After getting dressed, Nagi joins her again and asks why she's home from summer school so early. As they chat, a cat suddenly cuddles up to Sachi, and Nagi realizes she's been secretly feeding it. Sachi grabs him by the collar and forces him to swear not to tell anyone. He agrees and she feeds the cat, who she's named Gloomy, but Gloomy immediately jumps down and walks away to meet a female cat. This shocks Sachi, as she always thought Gloomy was alone, hence the name she had given him. Watching him leave with his new companion makes her unexpectedly sad. Sachi then asks Nagi what's going to happen once he marries Erika. She also tells him he should stop chasing Hiro and just settle down with Erika instead. Nagi avoids answering and turns the question around, reminding her how she used to talk about meeting her prince when they were younger. Embarrassed, Sachi says that one day she will fall in love and maybe even get married. This surprises Nagi, but he then asks her to stop meddling in his love life if she doesn't want him meddling in hers. In response, Sachi sprays him with water and declares that she's not getting married, so he's not allowed to either. She storms toward the house, intending to ignore him for the rest of the day, but before she can go inside, they hear Erika's voice calling out urgently. Erika rushes into the yard, breathless, and reveals that Hiro has been abducted. Meanwhile, elsewhere in town in front of Nagi's family eatery, Ai wanders near the entrance. As the aroma of food drifts from inside, she smiles to herself. It's been 10 years since she last saw Nagi, and she's looking forward to meeting him again.